Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to cover the serious challenges. Number 2 is a series. So let's pick up last week's sermon, and I'm just resume the rest of the story that I didn't cover last week. So I'd like to invite you to open your Bible, Joshua chapter 15 and verse 1. The allotment for the tribe of Judah, clan by clan, extended down to the territory of Edom, to the desert of Zin in the extreme south. Interesting, because it talks about the boundary of Judah as the chapter 15 starts. So let's see. Talks about the southern boundary, southern border, 15:2. Their southern boundaries started from the bay at the southern end of the Salt Sea. Verse 5. Now eastern boundary. The eastern boundary is the Salt Sea as far as the mouth of the Jordan. The northern boundary started from the bay of the sea at the mouth of Jordan. And 15:12. The western boundary is the coastline with the great sea. These are the boundaries around the people of Judah by their clan. So let's do some map here. So as you can see right here, Judah, this is Salt Sea, now Dead Sea. So Judah boundary is right here, and the western boundary is right here, Judah, where they have Philistia occupied. So we are going to cover Joshua chapter from 15 through 19. Have you ever thought about why Judah was chosen to be distributed their land? What is the reason, Judah? Probably one of the reasons is because pick up the story from chapter 14. Hebron is given to Caleb, right? So probably Judah tribe distribution is followed by Caleb's story. Caleb is from a Judah tribe, as you can see. So gradually, the land is going to be distributed, and Judah was first chosen. And let me ask you a question. Among Israelites' 12 tribes, which tribe is the most tribe in number, the largest tribe? As you can guess, Judah is the largest tribe among Israelites. There is, based on Numbers chapter 26, there's some population. They count the numbers, how big army they can form. So based on the story, age 20 and over men who can go out and fight. So as you can see right here, Judah is the most tribe. That's 76,500. That's only the tribe more than 70,000. And some other large tribes like Dan, 64,400. Zebulun, Issachar, 64,300. Zebulun, 60,500, like that. And Asher, 53,400. Manasseh 52, 700, like that. And Benjamin 45, 600. Reuben 43 and 730. The tribe of Reuben is very unique and interesting because others are all 100 and round off, and this is even 730, like that. And interesting enough, Simeon is the smallest, 22,200, like that. So the total number is 601,730 when you add up all tribes. Of course, Levi, the tribe Levi excluded, it's about 23,000. As you can see, Levi is not going to receive any land, but God himself is going to be their inheritance. So Joshua's work, assignment, not only conquering the promised land, Canaan, but also the distributing this land is a huge task. Can you guess how difficult it'll be? So the total number 20 and over 600,000 people. So multiply by 4, so around 2 million, more than 2 million, 2.5 million, and 3 million people. Do you know how many Jews in the world? It is said 14 million Jews out of the world. And in Israel, the land of Israel, about 6 million Jews. And also in the United States, a little bit less than 6 million. So half of the Jew lives in Israel and half of it in the United States and the other nations, other countries. So altogether around 14 million people. That's a statistics says that. So compared to 6 million Jews in the land of Israel, and this one is about 2 million and 3 million. So it's not an easy task to distribute the lands. Let's go some more detail. Let's go to Joshua 19:1. There's a very interesting comments here. Because Joshua 19:1, out of a sudden, out of nowhere, the second lot came out for the tribe of Simeon, clan by clan. Right? Their inheritance lay within the territory of Judah. As we can see, the map again, right here, Simeon and Judah. Inside of the Judah, there's a Simeon. And Simeon happens to be the smallest number, right? The question is the second lot. So what is the first lot? All of a sudden, there's a second lot and third lot, like that. Verse 10, the third lot came up for Zebulun, like that. To review those sequence, we have to go back to the chapter 18. Chapter 18, it says, verse 1, the whole assembly of the Israelites gathered at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The country was brought under their control. But, verse 2, but there were still 7 Israelite tribes who had not yet received their inheritance. So now the 12 tribes and 5 tribes already received the land, and 7 tribes left. So 5 tribes, like the east of Jordan right here, Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, right? Manasseh. And Judah, and the Joseph tribe, Manasseh and Abraham. Ephraim. So 5 tribes received their lands already, and 7 left, right? So Simeon, Benjamin, Dan, Issachar, Zebulun, Naphtali, and Asher. So the second lot comes from Simeon. Verse 2, we just read, and verse 3, Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you?" So Joshua is challenging, hey, hurry up, let's do God's work. And verse 4, he says, this is the order from Joshua. Appoint 3 men from each tribe. I will send them out to make a survey of the land and to write a description of it according to the inheritance of each. Then they will return to me. Hey, go out and choose 3 from each tribe and go out and survey and get some description and come back to me, and I'll give the land to you, like that. And verse 5, you are to divide the land into 7 parts. Judah is to remain in its territory on the south, and the house of Joseph in its territory on the north. Verse 6, after you have written descriptions of 7 parts of the land, bring them here to me, and I will cast lots for you in the presence of the Lord our God. So the task is that they go out and survey the land and have the description and divide the 7 territory and get back to me. And it is not their job to cast lots, but he said, I will cast lots for you. Joshua is going to do that task. Because Joshua symbolizes it's God's work, and as we can see, going back to chapter 14, now there are the areas the Israelites received as an inheritance in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar, the priest, Joshua, son of Nun, and the heads of the tribal clans of Israel allotted to them. So there is the head of the tribe and priest and Joshua all together. And then, guess what? Verse 11, chapter 18, verse 11. Benjamin, the lot came up for the tribe of Benjamin, clan by clan. They allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. So right here, 5 tribes, they already have their land, including Judah, and Joseph tribe, which means Manasseh and Ephraim. So in between, there's Benjamin right here. And as you can see, let me see. So go back to Joshua chapter 19, the second lot for Simeon, right? And the third lot, verse 10, the third lot came from Zebulun. And first lot, verse 17, Issachar. Fifth lot, verse 24, Asher. And sixth lot came out for Naphtali, verse 32. and seventh lot for Dan, like that. So it is going to be completed soon. This is a story. There's a mother and two children. And when children are young and they are fighting each other on very civil thing, and hey, how come always my brother has more orange juice than me? No, you had more than me, like that. Well, in the the boy's eyes, still the other fence is greener than his, like that. So this is what the mother told the children, like this. Okay, you, the big brother, you are going to pour the same portion of orange juice into 2 cups, right? But you, the second one, you are going to choose what cup you are going to take. So guess what? The big brother is going to be very careful, equally filled the cup so that there's no injustice. There is justice they need. It is very sad that these days, as you see, the George Floyd, the case, and all kinds of riots and peaceful protesters, but there are some people looting, violence, exercising violence. And their phrase is, no justice, no peace, like that. I hope our country is going to be settled down quickly and going back to normal. Among the coronavirus, it is not over yet, but still another thing came up, and it's going to be making worse and worse. But hopefully it'll getting back to the normal soon. In Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about the famous our characters who has a strong faith, right? So let me ask you a question. In Joshua, the book of Joshua, when they practice their faith, and do you think the book of Hebrews is going to write the name? Whose name was written in the book of Hebrews chapter 11? Well, it is quite something that we couldn't see any name like Joshua or Caleb. But let's go to Hebrews 30. It says, by the faith, the walls of Jericho fell after the people had marched around them for 7 days. The verse 30, it does not talk about any people's name, but the event, the occasion, what has happened, and the Jericho fell down, the action. And also verse 31, by faith the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. Isn't that quite interesting? The prostitute Rahab, her name is on the list of faith, the giant. And not Caleb or not Joshua. But as you can see, this Bible text, Rahab believes that who is true God, and she had faith, and also she behaved based on her faith. Likewise, Caleb or Joshua. So they are all included, I guess. The challenge of Caleb, like the name of Rahab was written in Hebrews chapter 11. Challenge of Caleb. He had a strong faith. Numbers 13 and 30, as we discovered. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." So when I read this Bible story over and over again, our faith is not majority vote. Did you get it? Our faith is not majority vote. Well, if they have to decide majority vote, and Caleb and Joshua will be living in a lonely island, right? Most of those are 10, the head of tribes. They said, okay, we can't. But only Joshua and Caleb. Not based on what they have seen, the land, but based on their imaginary vision toward God. They could see victory. So, hey, let's go and we can do it. In the following chapter 14:9, only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people of the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them. So look at that. Caleb has faith, strong faith, and also he behaves. He behaves based on his strong faith. So guess what? Faith without any action or behavior is just nothing, senseless. So somebody says that the word faith, belief, is verb, not a noun, because it is followed by some action. So that's exactly what Caleb did. In Joshua 15:13, this is kind of an accomplishment based on what he had said, and now he conquered the land. In accordance with the Lord's commands to him, Joshua gave to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, a portion of Judah. Kiriath Arba, there is Hebron. Arba was the forefather of Anak, right? So the word Kiriath, its meaning is a city, a town, Arba. Arba is one of the very typical, very conspicuous, the figure among the tribe, the family of Anak, right? The forefather. In Hebrew word, Ab means father or forefather. Not simply father, but grandfather, great-grandfather, and so on, forefather. Kiriath Arba, right there. In the following verse, and from Hebron, Caleb drive out the 3 Anakites, Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai, descendants of Anak. Right there. Yes. Right there. Because they are talking about what he did. And when the other 10 people, rest of the, except Joshua and Caleb, they say, "Oh, we just look like a grasshopper, locust," right? And maybe they will see us like that too. We feel in that way. But here's Caleb. When he said something, he accomplished something. So man of faith and man of action, man of behavior. From there, he marched against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer, like that. So this is exactly what has happened right here. Another word, the Kiriath here, Kiriath, the same. So town of Sefer. Sefer means writing, a town of writing or book, like that. So Bible describes based on what Caleb said, and now Bible describes chapter 15 that what he did actually based on his faith. The third challenge from Caleb is that for the next generation, he's the investor for the next generation. The torch of our faith has to be handed down to the next generation, and Caleb did so. Joshua 15:16, it says, "And Caleb said, I will give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the man who attacks the captures of Kiriath Sefer. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother, took it. So Caleb gave his daughter Aksa to him in marriage," like that. Well, in old Bible history, sometimes we don't understand the marriage between in clan. That's very common, unlike these days. And as you can see, the genealogy, Caleb here and his brother here, right? So Aksa and Othniel, they're cousins, but they got married. But the thing is that the faith that Caleb the same faith Caleb had was handed down to the next generation. And Othniel, as you can see in Judges, one of the judges in the book of Judges. So very successful torch of faith is handed down to the next generation. In summary, Caleb is the man of faith, man of behavior, action based on faith, and he's a successful man in terms of handing down his torch of faith to the next generation. That challenges us. It is always very hard to talk about our children because nobody knows what happened to them. Like our church, and I've heard that there used to be 100 people occupy these pews, and there are many, many children, sons and daughters. But sadly, we cannot see them very often anymore. But we can still keep praying for keeping them back. This is a very atypical phenomenon throughout the America, even in Korea, and the next church too. But we have to receive these challenges from Caleb: faith, behavior, the torch to the next generation. We talked about this gentleman last week too, right? Dr. Kim, retired professor of philosophy, Yonsei University, and he celebrated 100th birthday. Centenarian, he became a centenarian last April 23rd, if I remember correctly. And this is what he says. When we arrive at the end of life, someone may think there is nowhere to go back like an orphan. However, when the sun is down, when the sun is setting down, if there is a home to go back after a day's work, that's a very, very different story. Very interesting story because, like us, we have faith and we have Heavenly Father, and there is a place when we all die and go back to our God. We are not orphaned. We have our Heavenly Father. He's a very sincere Christian man. This is another book he wrote. It says a journal of 100. which means 100 years old. Do you know how many centenarians in the United States? It's growing. Centenarians in U.S. Year of 2000, 50,281, but it's increasing. Year 2014, it says 72,197. It's increasing, amazing. So now we believe that around 80,000 Americans over 100. And people estimate that year of 2020 maybe over 100,000. It's an estimation. And the Korean statistics has it that as of year 2019, 882 men. Can you guess which gender outlived? Yes, woman, right? Female. In Korean society, it says 4,244 compared to men only 638. So woman outlived men. I wonder why is it that? What is the reason? Because women don't have a nagging husband, I guess. But recent BBC news has it that it's related to a chromosome, the sex chromosome XY. And when we getting old, based upon the chromosome, responded differently, and male chromosome has some weak point to resist the diseases like that. In this journal, he said, God, if you allow me to be healthy so that I could go to middle school, I promise you that I'll do your work, not pursuing my own benefit. Believe it or not, he was a very weak boy. When he was young, this is the prayer when he was 14 years old. When he was young and while walking on the street, and he lost his consciousness that week. So his mother always prayed to God that, oh, I wish I could see you go to a middle school. There was the humble wish, but guess what? He outlived most of his fellows like that. And page 32, it says, I know there are some common grounds among my relatives who happily outlived 100. Those are the people without selfishness. No possession movement is part of it, like that. The no possession movement means, okay, we came to this world with empty hand, so we are going back with empty hands. So no property left, no money. It's all donation to the society. That's a no possession movement. And he's saying that based on what God teaches him, just simple, humble life, loving life toward God, make him happy and stay healthy and outlives most of his friends like that. Okay, I'm going to conclude with this Bible text, 2 Chronicles chapter 20 and verse 20. Easy to remember 2020. This year is 2020 and this is 2 Chronicle 2020. Early in the morning they left for desert Tekoa. As they set out, Jehoshaphat stood and said, listen to me, Judah and people of Jerusalem. Have faith in the Lord your God, and you will be upheld. Have faith in his prophets, and you will be successful. This is my humble prayer for you and for me. When we are challenged by the story of Caleb, faith, behavior, and for the next generation, preparing the next generation, if we uphold our faith with God, and if we trust our prophets, and you and I will be successful. And this is my simple desire and pleasure that, Lord, whatever you want me to do, I just wanted to follow your guidance. Allow me and use me and accept me as it is. I hope everyone have a happy Sabbath, and I'll see you next time. God bless.